Understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
And now you have to ask yourself, how did 50 come into the possession of Diddy's footage for Diddy's documentary about Diddy?
A lot of insight. And, this documentary is about people being able to tell their truth or tell their version.
What if the loudest joke in a room was never a joke at all? And what if the comedian everyone laughed at was actually giving a warning? Now understand, I'm not talking about one person. When Katt Williams said that, people smirked, rolled their eyes, called it another rant. But then he added something that didn't feel like punchlines anymore. He said what he described applied to 7 people. 7. And that's where it gets messy. For years, Katt was brushed off as the outspoken comic who talked too freely. When he mentioned Michael Jackson, when he mentioned R. Kelly, he says he faced backlash for even bringing their names up. According to him, it was never about race. It's God's side and the other side. Dramatic? Maybe. But in January 2024, when he sat down on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe, something shifted. The internet stopped laughing. The timing felt different. Because now real legal trouble was unfolding around Sean Diddy Combs, and Katt's old words were being replayed in a new light.
Def Comedy Jam 25. It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams going to show?
He hinted that when serious revelations about Diddy surfaced, it wouldn't just be about one man. And months later, 50 Cent released his documentary, Sean Combs, The Reckoning. It made waves, clips, timelines, patterns people said had been circulating quietly for years. But viewers noticed something strange. Certain names, nowhere to be found. And that absence brought Katt 7 back into the conversation. Here's the part people miss. Katt never listed them clearly. He didn't hand over a checklist. But online, people started connecting dots anyway. Some claimed 50 Cent may have faced pressure to exclude certain figures. That's speculation, not proven in court. But the theory spread fast. Not every omission is accidental. One name that kept resurfacing in online discussions was Snoop Dogg. Old interviews were clipped. Podcast audio circulated. Conversations about Tupac, about East Coast and West Coast tensions, about who was cool with who after tragedy struck.
It's audio from Suge Knight. It's from his podcast with Dave Mays, and he's speaking on, Tupac and Snoop being cool and how, after Tupac got killed, Snoop started hanging out with Diddy. And, he also speaks on how, Snoop, he did the Steve Harvey show with Diddy after Tupac got killed. Check this out.
Okay. It's downloading right now.
Then you look at the scenario how everybody used Pac to make their stuff famous or make their project better. You got people who use their songs for Pac and tell them how much they love Pac, but they do songs for Puffy. You got Steve Harvey over there, this motherfucker telling, well, Pac going to everybody else. And he brings Snoop and Puffy on there and say, these are dudes who's running this in the East Coast, West Coast.
What's up, Snoop?
What's up, huh? Hey, whoa. Wait a minute, fellas here. Hold up. I know all about this East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing here, but we in Chicago now. This rivalry stuff, we gotta stop it, man. We stop that, we stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one, you know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my peoples.
For real, that's what we came in for. We came in and light it up and ride it up. We make music.
Now, Pac. If you love Pac so much, how you with the motherfuckers, they got something to do with the first get down that happened to Pac in New York, then the second one.
What you think about Suge comments? And I never asked you this before, but did you have an issue with Snoop hanging out with Diddy after Tupac got killed?
I always felt that was wrong. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm talking about from that, like now, okay. You know what I mean? I'm 46, Snoop probably early 50s. If he figured out now, he might go by the opinion like, okay, Puffy had nothing to do with Pac. You know, we grown now. If he want to be his friend, no problem. But back then, that was just awkward. You know what I mean? And the reason why it was awkward to me that I never even like it because you knew how Pac felt about this individual.
Suge Knight, speaking from prison in past interviews, said he felt it was awkward that Snoop and Diddy were close after Tupac's death. That's his opinion, not a legal finding, but it added fuel. People revisited footage of Snoop attending Diddy's events over the years. Jokes, appearances, industry overlap. Nothing illegal was confirmed. Nothing charged. But the question became louder. If the documentary was about patterns, why was Snoop barely mentioned? Speculation suggested pushback would have been intense. Snoop isn't just an artist. He's a brand, a business empire, a cultural institution. And in Hollywood, status can shape narratives. That's a theory, not a proven fact. But it's one many viewers floated. Then Kevin Hart's name started trending. That caught people off guard. Online theories pointed to early career connections to events described as Flavor Camp, allegedly linked to Diddy's circle. There's no confirmed wrongdoing tied to Kevin Hart in this context. But fans began rewatching old comedy bits, old clips asking new questions.
ET Awards went off without a hitch last night. A sense of that there. No, inside everything was fine. Outside everything was fine. And Kevin Hart decided that he was going to make jokes about, well, I mean, he's the host, right? So you have to sort of roast a little bit about someone who's in the audience because, well, this person is in a prison, actually right now sitting in a courtroom, and that's Diddy. Yes, he didn't say his name, but it was very clear to everyone who he was talking about here. Watch the reactions in the
Diddy was a big part of this culture. You know,
right.
His after parties, were a part of the BET experience. So, life comes at you fast, but, Kevin had to address the elephant in the room.
By the way, we should say the Diddy after parties that happen after award shows, that's not what the trial is about. Those weren't freak-offs. The trial is something separate, but still nobody wanted to be seen as laughing at him.
At the BET Awards, Kevin made a joke referencing Diddy's after parties, clarifying that those events were not what current legal proceedings are about. That distinction matters. The trial and investigations into Diddy involve separate allegations that remain contested in court. But the room's reaction? Tense. Careful. Nobody wanted to laugh too hard. And that's when the silence became interesting. Because sometimes what isn't said carries more weight than what is. Maze is another name people expected to speak louder. His history with Bad Boy Records is documented. Contract disputes, public frustration, then distance. When allegations around Diddy escalated, many anticipated a fiery response. Instead, silence. Some fans believe he knows more than he shared. Others think he simply chose peace over reopening old wounds. That's speculation, but the quiet felt deliberate.
Oh, with Kevin Hart.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
The internet is going wild on him, saying that he was a curator and a narrator of one of the Diddy parties and got caught on tape. You hear that?
Wow. I didn't hear that one.
That must be one of your favorite. That must be one of your favorite comedians, then. Cause you ain't hear that?
That was cool.
Huh?
I didn't hear it.
Get out of here.
It was cool, but I didn't hear that one. Must have missed it, man. I think I caught most of them.
I think he almost fell in the tub with one of the girls. Diddy had some girls in the tub, a tub of baby oil or something like that, and he almost fell in the tub. It was crazy.
He would be one of the celebrities that I definitely wouldn't think would be involved in anything illegal. For sure.
But you got to realize this, man. people who get caught up in certain those things like that, those parties and things like that, is that they don't go there looking for that stuff. You got to understand, they get caught up in the moment with the alcohol, the drugs, and then certain bottles that are laced with certain things that take you away from your normal self. And you end up probably doing something that you probably never do again in your life. You never get caught up in those things ever before. There are a lot of celebrities that go to these parties like this. And they not only Diddy parties. I went to a party before and You Can't Handle the Truth and King Kong Ain't Got Nothing on Me was at one of those parties. I was bodyguarding one of the girls. So what I'm saying is that it's rampant, and this was years ago. This was over 20 years ago. It's rampant in the music industry. It's rampant in Hollywood, film, pictures, or anything.
Can I tell you a story, Killer? I don't think I ever told you this story. This is what Puff taught me. One time I walked in when I was fresh off the streets. I got signed to Bad Boy. I had these fresh Air Nikes on, and then had on Air Nikes too, brand new. I made a mistake and stepped on his sneaker, and the dirt was on his laces, on his white Airs. I said, man, my bad, because I had stepped in some dirt. You know, the nigga came back, put his feet in the dirt, and stepped all over my sneakers. I said, yo, what are you doing? He said, my bad. I said, yo. The moral of the story.
Then came Meek Mill. An audio clip circulated online. It spread fast. Meek publicly denied wrongdoing. No charges had confirmed the rumors attached to his name. But once the internet locks in, it rarely lets go. Theories claimed including him directly in the documentary could have triggered defamation battles. That's not confirmed, but it's a plausible legal concern in high-profile productions. And again, his name was absent. But the most delicate conversations centered around Justin Bieber and Usher. Both had early professional ties to Diddy. Old footage resurfaced. Interviews were reinterpreted by viewers in hindsight. Some fans questioned whether young stars were fully protected in powerful environments. There is no confirmed criminal finding tying them to wrongdoing in this narrative, and that's critical. Still, many believe the documentary drew a line here, possibly to avoid harming individuals who may have been vulnerable at the time.
Told the day before the incident at the celebrity basketball game that someone was coming for Puffy and Biggie. And another line that May said that caught my attention, man, was him saying that never fought the killer. Why is there? How do you feel about him saying that? Because it sounds like he's referring to Biggie getting killed in LA, and Puffy, he's currently living in LA right now. And why does he feel so comfortable living somewhere that Biggie got killed at, knowing that they never fought the killer and the murder is still unsolved?
Well, on all honestly, brother, you would have to ask him that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm looking at it like that, then I know, those mansions are heavily guarded, one. Two, he wasn't getting the love that he would get. I don't think he's getting love in LA. I don't know. He said he owns LA, he runs LA, he runs Miami, and he runs New York. So by him running LA, as he say he does, I would feel comfortable too. You know what I'm saying? If I knew for a fact that the person they got, and that was enough to call back all of everything, I would feel that comfortable too. But I wouldn't live there. I wouldn't go there. I'd do business and get on out of there. If I was still afraid, I don't think he may have not ever been afraid. You understand? Because he never acted like he was afraid for whatever reason it was.
And then there's Clive Davis. If Diddy was a face, some believe Clive represented the structure behind the scenes. A legendary executive, a gatekeeper, his absence from deep scrutiny sparked debate online, not because of proven misconduct in this context, but because including him would shift the story from one man to an entire system. And exposing systems is far more complicated than exposing individuals.
In the day that Meek Mills and Puff was a little too friendly, anytime two rappers or two people in the industry come dressed up alike on more than one occasion, my man, listen here, man. My dudes in Philly, I got some real strong dudes in Philly. They don't play that. And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mills, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood, whereas that he's dressing like Diddy, hugged up with Diddy. I think that Lil Rod know a lot of, but I know this. Two men dress alike, it's just like two men laying down. When they both get up, they both homos. And that's real talk, bruh. My man, you go to a party, dog, and the nigga got the same shirt you got on, I'm taking my shirt off. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. And then, not to blow Meek Mills up out the water or anything like that, it was said that they checked his Google search and all that, and he was searching for some online gay porn and all that.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, bro. But listen, those are what, it's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be questioned about his manhood with Diddy. But he put himself in that position.
Like, where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with.
After the documentary dropped, viewers noticed how tightly focused it was. Diddy at the center, deeper questions hovering at the edges. Who funded events? Who approved venues? Who kept showing up year after year? Those questions weren't fully explored. According to 50 Cent, documentaries have limits, episode limits, legal limits, distribution limits. That's confirmed in interviews promoting the series.
They don't even bootleg no more, man. So it's going to be hard to figure it out if it does exist.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. and somebody that's more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had to take with another man, did that catch you by surprise or no?
Well, all this is by surprise to me. A lot of this is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff, I knew Puff Daddy, I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world that we live in now.
He even mentioned there are reportedly over 100 additional hours of footage. Why not release all of it? He suggested there are reasons, permissions, legal complexities, strategic decisions. Nothing about missing names has been proven as censorship, but the pattern feels familiar to longtime industry watchers. One figure takes the fall. The machine steps back. And that brings us full circle to Katt Williams. He never claimed to be a hero. He framed himself as someone exposing deception. All lies will be exposed, he said, whether you believe him or not. The timing of his warnings and the unfolding legal chaos around Diddy made people listen differently. He said there were 7. He implied layers of protection. He suggested influence shapes what the public gets to see. But here's the real tension. None of these broader connections have been proven in court as a coordinated network. Many remain allegations, rumors, or online theories. And yet, the silence from certain corners of the industry feels calculated, not panicked, controlled. When interviews get canceled, when posts vanish, when old photos quietly disappear, that doesn't confirm guilt, but it does confirm strategy. Diddy's legal battles are ongoing. Allegations are being contested. The documentary gave one version of events. Others insist there's more. And somewhere in those reportedly unreleased hours of footage, people wonder what else sits unseen. So maybe the real question isn't whether 7 names were removed. Maybe it's this: if more footage comes out and if more stories surface, will expand the narrative or prove that the system is far bigger than any one man. And if Katt wasn't joking back then, who do you think he meant when he said 7?
Stacey Dash, Ray J, Clive Davis, how are they all connected?
I want to say Diddy, but I don't.
We're going to be going through all of those possibilities.
Oh, okay. I wasn't supposed to answer. Okay.
And when we started LA as a graveyard, then, it was like, okay, we can't just say that anymore, especially after I took them up to 35 for us to film about what happened to Mo there. It's hip hop.
Yeah.
And that's going to be moving on to Tombstone.
Okay.
And we'll be going through the unexpected, unusual deaths, unsolved murders, mysteries, things of that nature, things that I know, things that I'm directly connected to. We want to create this aspect because we want to start teasing people's minds into wanting to get these crimes solved, because the truth is, it seems like the hardest murder to solve in America is a rap murder. They just don't seem to get solved.
Without question.
That's a problem.
Without question.
Because we got over 35, 40 years of hip-hop homicides.
Yes.
How many of them get solved?
They created a whole show. Yeah.
Unsolved hip-hop mystery. Are you kidding me?
Hey. I have to ask you. You mentioned Clive Davis. They just showed him recently walking into somewhere, and they asked him about Diddy, and he said, "Who? Is that old age, or does he not? They're not in the same world, or they're in the same world, but they're not cohorts."
He's definitely been his